Why I like Joseph Campbell more than Jordan Peterson. For those of you who don't know Joseph Campbell, he was a very popular storyteller, philosopher who dealt a lot with mythology and psychology in the 20th century. He was on PBS with Susan Sarandon, and he had been interviewed by Bill Moyer. He was very profound and influential for many artists in the latter half of the 20th century, including George Lucas. George Lucas had even said he would have been unable to complete Star Wars the way that he did without Joseph Campbell's very influential ideas. The Hero with a Thousand Faces is one of his most endearing books. And basically, to summarize my understanding of Joseph Campbell is that all of the religions, although very different in sort of their outer garments, deep underneath, they're revealing some of the same truths. And so what he did was sort of bring the richness and the value of mythology to the public in a way that hadn't really been seen or appreciated by the public. So that's Joseph Campbell. Now, Jordan Peterson is a guy who was a clinical psychologist as well as a professor at the University of Toronto. He went on the Joe Rogan podcast to discuss some political issues regarding free speech, particularly gender pronouns, and then he exploded in popularity. And he had already, he was a semi-public guy as a professor, and he had been on TV before. But after the Joe Rogan podcast, he really exploded, went on a big tour around the world promoting his book, 12 Rules for Life. He had some personal issues, family issues, got hooked on benzos, had a terrible withdrawal, which I can totally identify with, and has now reemerged into the public light. He's got a lot of very insightful talks on a very similar topic as Joseph Campbell, psychology and mythology. And he is very persuasive. He is very engaging. And so he's a very interesting lecturer. So you have Joseph Campbell and Jordan Peterson. And I want to say right now that I admire both of these men. I respect their genius. I respect their work. I have been given so much value from listening to both of their lectures. But this video, why I prefer Joseph Campbell over Jordan Peterson, and it's a simple thing, and it could be that we prefer certain thinkers based on our temperament. The late philosopher Alan Watts often said that philosophy was largely a matter of temperament. So if you're the type of person who likes very rigid and precise definitions versus someone who likes things kind of vague and woo and gooey, then you'll prefer philosophers who are extremely perhaps rational versus philosophers who are a little more mystical. So why I prefer Joseph Campbell over Jordan Peterson could be a matter of my temperament, but the reasons I want to give is this. Jordan Peterson's sort of, if you summarize, I know you can't really condense someone's philosophy and life into a sentence, but if you did, Jordan Peterson's is clean your room, Clean your room. It's that old advice that your mom gave you. And there's reasons for it, because when you clean your room, you're being responsible for your life, you're bettering your life, which betters the life of others. And so the whole idea, which is for Jordan Peterson, is that you basically, in a certain way, is become a better person. He often thinks of humans in sort of a pretty bad light. He thinks of us generally as sort of there's these worms, and really ascribes to the biblical fall. He's a big promoter of the Bible, but he's also a promoter of the heroic spirit. So you're a worm until you become a hero, and it starts with cleaning your room. I know that's a simplification, and there's a lot you can say more about Jordan Peterson's thought, but let's just leave it at that. Joseph Campbell, also, I think, he wants, of course, more light in the world. He has quoted one of his mentors, forget his name, but it was basically, everything you do in life has both good and evil, has the opposites, lean towards the light. That's all you can do. And his philosophy, rather than starting with cleaning your room, is follow your bliss. And I heard Jordan Peterson in one of his question and answers or one of his lectures actually criticize Joseph Campbell's follow your bliss. Because Jordan Peterson doesn't believe that the path forward for an individual to sort of redeem the tragedy of life is by following your bliss. No, he believes it's through accepting responsibility. And it is true, right? The more responsibility you take on, I mean, you really do get a lot more meaning from that. Joseph Campbell, on the other hand, is urging people to follow their bliss. And from following your bliss, you will get on the right path, and then you will actually offer up the best part of you to society. So they both want to help the individual deal with sort of the tragedy and the existential angst of life, but they sort of go about it in two different ways. Now, Joseph Campbell, I don't believe, was familiar with Jordan Peterson before he passed, so we don't know what he would have thought of Jordan Peterson. I'm sure he would have a lot to say. Jordan Peterson has, I believe, I heard it once, criticized Follow Your Bliss. So, why do I like Joseph Campbell? I guess for me, one of the things I like about philosophy in general is when you read them or listen to them, you can start to put their philosophies into practice, like putting on a jacket or doing a certain martial art technique. Try their philosophies out, see what happens. And with Jordan Peterson, I find that I'm always looking for things to clean. I'm always looking for things to fix, because his mentality is, that this world's fucked up. You're fucked up. You got to fix yourself, and then help your family, and then help your community, and then help your country, and then help the world. So he sees a problem that he's got to fix. Whereas Joseph Campbell sort of comes from that old Hindu idea, Sat Chit Ananda, that the ground of being is actually bliss. And so if you can follow your bliss, you'll get in tune sort of with the actual bliss that permeates the cosmos. All right, that's the gardener, so I'm going to stop at that. I like to follow my bliss because when I do that, I feel that I give my best self to other people. And whereas when I constantly try to watch myself and watch what I can fix, although I guess there's some temporary feelings of accomplishment that I get, I do end up feeling that I'm at war with myself and at war with the people I'm trying to correct. Sorry, the gardeners are coming, so I'll finish there. Very short, maybe I'll go into more details with specifics of what they've said. Like I said, Jordan Peterson's really hot right now. I hope that you don't excoriate me or kill me because I criticized him. I love him. He's given me a lot of food for thought. But I guess maybe it's my temperament. Maybe I'm just more of a naturally bliss-inclined person than a fix-inclined personality. But I love Joseph Campbell. I hope that you look at both of these thinkers, read their thoughts, listen to their lectures, and I will see you next time. My name is Ryan. Bye.